In a world where we are constantly influenced by our surroundings, it is crucial to choose the people around us carefully. Your surroundings can be your strength or your weakness. Have you ever felt like certain people were holding you back, without even knowing it? Today, we're going to talk about the importance of surrounding yourself intelligently, sorting out your relationships, and choosing individuals who nourish your vision and energy. Because on the path to your goals, every person you let into your life can either lift you up or hold you back. 1. The secret of an unshakable mind. Imagine a warrior in battle. Arrows rain down around him, screams resonate, but he advances, imperturbable. It's not that he doesn't feel anything, it's that he's learned not to get distracted by chaos. This warrior is you facing the trials of life. Every day, words, events, looks seek to crack your mind. However, there is a key that few people use: mastery of perception. Strength does not lie in the absence of obstacles, but in the way you interpret them. Take a good look around you. There are people who seem to weather the worst storms without weakening. Do you wonder how they do it? The answer is simple. They understood that nothing has power over them unless they allow it. A review, a background noise, a failure, a simple step in the process, a personal attack, an opinion that does not define their value, emotional detachment, an illusion or a real force. Many believe that remaining impassive in the face of provocation means being insensitive. In reality, it's quite the opposite. Controlling your reactions means give yourself the luxury of choosing your battles. Most people waste their energy on things that, in hindsight, are insignificant. Let me ask you a question. How many times have you been disturbed by a comment or a look that a few days later no longer had any importance? The problem is not the event. That's the importance you give it. Every time you let criticism get to you, you're putting your power in someone else's hands. Every time you react impulsively, you allow the outside to control your inside. How to become steadfast? Here is a simple but extremely effective exercise. Whenever a situation bothers you, ask yourself 3 questions. Will this still matter in a week? Does this really affect my life, or is it just a temporary inconvenience? Do I have the power to change the situation, or should I just accept it and move on? You'll be surprised to see that most of the things that upset you today won't even be worth mentioning tomorrow. The Stoics had a powerful maxim: what troubles men is not things, but the judgments they make about these things. It's all there. You don't control the outside world, but you are in total control your look at him. Those who understand this move forward without getting caught up in distractions. They build their lives on solid, unshakable foundations. The power of hindsight. Take a moment. Visualize yourself in 5 years. Do you think that the criticisms, doubts, or fears that assail you today will still have a place in your life? Probably not. The only thing that will remain is how you reacted. So, the next time something threatens your inner peace, remember this: storms pass, but those who know how to stay grounded become indestructible. 2. The art of emotional control. A provocation, an injustice, an inappropriate word, and suddenly, the explosion. Anger flares like an uncontrollable flame, burning everything in its path. However, once the fire has passed, what remains? Fatigue, regret, and a situation that could have been controlled otherwise. Therein lies the difference between an ordinary person and a person who has understood the art of emotional control. Look at a martial arts master. He does not respond to the first attack. He does not let himself be carried away by the primal instinct which urges him to retaliate immediately. He observes. He waits. He chooses his moment. For what? Because he knows that reacting on impulse is a weakness, while acting strategically is a strength. Why are we so reactive? Our brains are programmed to respond to threats in survival mode. It is a legacy of our ancestors, who had to react instantly in the face of mortal danger. But today, our predators are no longer wild beasts. They are words, behaviors, or frustrating situations. Yet we still react as if our lives depended on it. Anger and frustration are natural, but what matters is what we do with it. Every time you let an emotion dominate you, you lose a little control over yourself. And conversely, every time you resist the urge to react impulsively, you strengthen your inner power. The secret of the strongest minds. Look at people who inspire respect. They are not the ones who shout the loudest or who explode at the slightest annoyance. They are the ones who remain calm, even in chaos. Their secret? They understood that energy is precious, and you need to know where to invest it. Imagine a great conductor. He doesn't rush. He doesn't tap his foot nervously. He controls. He sets the rhythm. This is exactly what someone who masters their emotions does. They become the conductor of their own mind. How to control your reactions. There is a simple technique used by the greatest leaders and thinkers in history, the 10-second rule. The next time you feel a rush of negative emotion, do this. Don't talk. Silence is your ally. Breathe deeply. Air calms the nervous system. Ask yourself a question. Will this reaction help or harm me? If the answer is no, wait another 10 seconds. You'll be surprised how much those 10 seconds can change everything. This little space between the stimulus and your reaction is where your true strength lies. Calm is a weapon. Some people think that keeping your cool is being weak. In fact, it is one of the greatest forms of power. An uncontrollable mind is a manipulatable mind. But a mind that knows how to choose its battles becomes indomitable. When you control your emotions, you control your life. 13.3. Act as if. A powerful principle. Imagine an actor on stage. He may never have experienced what his character feels, but by playing the role with conviction, he makes us believe in his story. The more truth he puts into it, the more credible his acting becomes, until he himself ends up feeling the emotion he is simulating. This is exactly what happens in real life. Your brain is a sponge. He absorbs what you give him. If you walk like someone who is confident, if you talk like someone who knows what they are doing, if you act like failure is not an option, your mind ends up integrating these signals. It's not pretension, it's programming. Why does this principle work? Our minds don't always know the difference between what's real and what's being played with conviction. When you smile, even for no reason, your brain releases feel-good hormones. When you adopt an upright, confident posture, your mind interprets it as a sign of power. What you do externally gradually becomes an inner reality. Top athletes have used this concept for decades. Even before winning a race, they visualize themselves crossing the finish line. They act as if a victory was already theirs. And the result? Their body follows what their mind has accepted as truth. How to apply this principle in your life? Let's take a concrete example. Imagine that you have to speak in public, but fear paralyzes you. Your heart is beating too fast, your hands are sweaty, and your brain is telling you you're going to fail. At this moment, apply the principle of as if. Straighten up. An upright posture sends a message of confidence to your brain. Breathe slowly and deeply. A controlled breathing rhythm calms the nervous system. Speak as if you have mastered your subject. Even if you doubt, express yourself with confidence. Smile lightly. This tricks your brain into thinking you are comfortable. Act like you've already succeeded. Act with the mindset of someone who is already where you want to be. What will happen is fascinating. At first, it's a conscious effort. But the more you repeat this pattern, the more natural it becomes. And one day, without realizing it, you stop pretending. You have become this version of you. Transform your identity through action. The greatest transformations do not begin with a sudden revelation, but with small daily adjustments. Do you want to be more confident? Act like a confident person. Do you want to be disciplined? Adopt the habits of those who already are. At first it may seem artificial, but that's how learning works. It all starts with a role that we play, until it becomes our own reality. Acting as if is not an illusion, it is a method, a powerful tool to reprogram your mind and propel you towards what you want to become. 4. Silence, a formidable weapon. The world is noisy. Everywhere, people are agitated, arguing, trying to have the last word. However, among them, there are some who stand out for their absolute calm. It is often those who know the most, who have the most control over their lives. For what? Because they understood that speaking is not always a sign of strength, but silence can be a real weapon. Look at the most influential figures in history, the greatest strategists, the masters of emotional intelligence. They do not speak out of turn. They listen, analyze, and respond only when it is truly worth it. Their silence is not a void, but a contained power. Why is silence so powerful? First, because he unhorses. When someone attacks or criticizes you, they expect a reaction. He wants to provoke a response, whether defensive or aggressive. But what if you stay silent? He loses his control over the situation. His power disappears. Then the silence prevents you from wasting your energy. How many times have you argued with someone only to realize, after the fact, that it was useless? That the other person was not trying to understand, but simply to impose their point of view? Every unnecessary word spends part of your mental energy. However, this energy is precious. Why give it away for free to those who aren't worth it? Finally, silence commands respect. He who does not let himself be carried away by emotions, who knows how to remain silent when necessary, inspires a form of admiration. He shows that he has total self-control. It is a mark of intelligence and inner strength. Learn to choose your battles. When faced with criticism or provocation, ask yourself this question: is this really worth my attention? In 90% of cases, the answer is no. You can let it flow. You can keep calm and move on. Or not everything deserves a reaction. And that's where the real power lies. But in the rare case where a response is necessary, so choose your words carefully. Speak little, but speak correctly. Hits where it really counts. Silence is not a weakness. It is a strategy. Some people are afraid of silence. They think that remaining silent means accepting or fleeing. They are wrong. To remain silent is sometimes to let the other person exhaust themselves. It is maintaining control while the other is consumed in his agitation. The greatest leaders, the most skillful negotiators, and the strongest minds have one thing in common. They know when to speak and when to be silent. So the next time you feel attacked, remember, silence can be louder than 1,000 words. 5. Surround yourself intelligently. The environment in which we operate is much more than just a setting. It plays a vital role in shaping our mindset and our ability to achieve our goals. It can be a powerful engine or, on the contrary, a sound brake that prevents us from moving forward. One of the most influential decisions we can make in our lives is who we spend time with. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to drain you for no apparent reason? It's often subtle, but their negative energy can have a profound impact. Hanging around the negative or toxic people is like carrying a heavy bag of stones every day. This invisible burden accumulates without you realizing it. At first, it may seem light, but over time, you find yourself exhausted, demoralized, even discouraged without knowing exactly why. These people can create doubts, challenge your ideas and dreams, or even convince you that they are not achievable. And the longer you stay in this environment, the more you let yourself be imprisoned by their limiting thoughts. Conversely, when you choose to surround yourself with positive people, those who are inspiring, motivating, and who push you to be the best version of yourself, something powerful happens. Their energy becomes a catalyst that awakens your potential. These people constantly remind you that you are capable, that your dreams are within reach, and that there are no limits to what you can accomplish, if you are willing to work for it. Their presence, even silent, encourages you to persevere in your goals, to stay focused, to keep the faith, even when obstacles seem insurmountable. However, it's not just about avoiding negativity. It's also about actively choosing people who share a vision similar to yours, who have ambitious goals, and who push you to the top. These relationships are not only beneficial for your morale, they are also essential to your personal and professional development. A good environment allows you to evolve, grow, learn new things, and reinvent yourself. The conversations you have with these people, whether over a cup of coffee or in deep discussions, are like seeds that, once planted in your mind, germinate and help you move in the direction of your dreams. But how do you sort through your surroundings? It's not always easy, especially when it comes to people close to you. The idea is not to reject others, but to become aware of how each relationship impacts your energy and your well-being. Sometimes it may be necessary to limit the time spent with certain people, or even to re-evaluate certain connections to prevent them from becoming toxic. The quality of your relationships must take precedence over quantity. Surround yourself with those who nourish your spirit and encourage you to go further. It is also essential to know what you bring to those around you. If you choose inspiring and positive people, you should also ensure that you are a source of light and motivation for them. The exchange of energy must be reciprocal. By cultivating healthy and balanced relationships, you create an environment conducive to success, not only for you, but also for those around you. Remember, your energy is a precious resource. It is limited, and every moment you spend with a person or in a negative environment is a moment you can never get back. Choose your traveling companions wisely and create an entourage that supports you, challenges you, and pushes you to surpass yourself. Only by doing this can you fully blossom and realize your dreams. Remember that the energy you invest in your relationships is valuable. Every meeting, every conversation, every moment spent with the right people can be a springboard to your success. So, choose your entourage carefully and surround yourself with those who push you to become a better version of yourself. It is by cultivating positive and inspiring relationships that you will maximize your potential and open yourself up to a brighter future. Never forget, the person you choose to share your journey with can make all the difference.